Hey guys, welcome back. Is it weird that I missed you guys? I know, kind of weird, but I did. So as you saw from the thumbnail, we're talking about preservation systems, ways to preserve your food so that it will last the longest. And there's several ways and different things that are on the market in order to assist us. And I kind of just want to go over some of those systems. And some of these I haven't even done myself, but I plan to. So for example, I'm just going to pull up this bad boy. It's kind of behind you. We'll talk about this one first. So this is just a basic dehydrator, right? It didn't cost me too much money. And it was just for something small, to start with something small and be able to just start dehydrating maybe some fruits, maybe some vegetables. And I kind of want to get into, when it comes to dehydrating, one, I wanted to try out and see how it would do with jerky. And then two, I wanted to start dehydrating some vegetables and then blending them in the blender so that I can get them in the powder form, so that I can use it and assist me in cooking, and then it will last longer. So some stuff I kind of am interested in doing is drying spinach and then blending it down into a powder that I could keep, that I could put into food easily, so that we could have spinach and vegetables in some of the foods that I'm making. So maybe I'm not having fresh spinach, but I still have something that I can put into soups and stews. So just an idea. And then of course, and then the other big one I wanted to try was maybe mushrooms. I've heard a lot about mushroom powder, and I'm really, really curious how it would taste, especially incorporating that into like a meatloaf or some meatballs. So that's kind of where I'm thinking of going with my dehydrator. And again, just getting to know it before I invest in anything super expensive. I'm pretty sure, don't let me lie, I'm going to go ahead and put the links of where I got it. I just got it on Amazon, but I'll put a link to it to see how much I paid, because I can't really remember. I just bought it, okay? So my favorite thing right now is canning. So I'm just going to turn this so you can kind of just see real quick. I got my canner there, right? And the thing that's really cool about canning is first of all, there's different cannings. So you have water bathing, you have pressure canning. So depending on what you're making is going to determine on what type of canner you need. And then there's different types for each of those. So if you're doing pressure canning, there's several companies that do make pressure canners, okay? And so I ended up with the TFAL. I love it. I watched like 1,000 videos before I ever got it, and I just felt that it was pretty easy to understand. The weight process was easy to understand. I'm a pretty simple girl, and so I love it. And my boo thing bought it for me. I almost died. He got it for me for Christmas. It was one of the best gifts that I've ever gotten. And I am fairly new at canning, but I absolutely love it. So if it's something you're trying to get into, it's a great way to preserve food. There's obviously other things you're going to need besides the canner itself. You're going to need jars, right? Depending on what you're trying to make, your recipe will determine what type of jar. And then there's what we call regular mouth jars, and there's wide mouth. So they have ones that are much larger. And all that does is just make it easier for when you're filling the jar for the wide mouths, right? So that's like the bougie is the wide mouth, right? But the regular mouths are just fine. And these days it's kind of hard to find all the parts. So if you buy them, they will come with the lid and the top and the lid, and they can be kind of hard to find right now. So you just kind of want to look around, but Walmart has them. Shoot, I saw some the other day at Vaughn's in the cold aisle. They were like up where they put kind of like some toys sometimes, which doesn't even make sense to me. But if you go to the cold aisle in Vaughn's, or sometimes it could be called Safeway where you're at, they'll have like random toys for sale at the top above the reefers. And I peeped some jars that they had just up there for sale. So I got them. They were more expensive, obviously, getting them from Vaughn's, but nowadays you just got to get them where you can get them. Okay, so, and what I like about jars is Jars are good for pressure canning food, right? They're good for water bathing if you're going to do jams and stuff. Obviously not this size jar, but the jam size jars. But what's great about these is you can vacuum seal. This is a regular mouth one, but you can vacuum seal and put on top of the jar like that. Connect it to a vacuum sealer or a hand pump. Have both. To where you can seal your jar. So if you've got, let's say, this smaller jar and you're putting seasonings in it, you're processing herbs and flowers and drying different things from your garden, and you want to put it in a jar, or you're buying seasonings from the store and you want to put them in a jar, you're going to put them in the jar, and then if you want them to last, you could vacuum seal them, which takes the air out and makes it last longer. Okay, so another way to use your jars. A lot of people will put pastas and all types of stuff in jars, and it's kind of the new thing. Glass makes stuff last a lot longer, and then you have the option that you could vacuum seal it. Some stuff you don't even have to do anything to it. You could just seal it. Some things you'll put in here, and then you'll put an oxygen absorber in it to draw out the air. It really just depends what you're doing. So it can be kind of fun figuring out how you want to preserve your food, because there's multiple different ways. Okay. Speaking of sealing, vacuum sealing, you could pick yourself up one of these. So pretty small. It's just a vacuum sealer. They have them everywhere, but they're fairly cheap. I actually got this one online. It was much cheaper than what I saw in the store. So I'll put a link to the specific one that I have as well, but it came with a roll of bags, and it also came with some pre bags ready to go. And you essentially are just putting your food inside. You're putting this into the sealer, and it's sealing it, and it's vacuum sealing it. So this is really popular for a lot of people do this for their meats. So the meat in the packaging, that meat comes in the store is not obviously very good, right? It gets freezer burnt really easy. So people will take their meat and put it in one of these bags and then vacuum seal it, right? Which is taking out all the air, and then they'll put that in their freezer. For me, I like it because I don't keep a whole lot of meat in the freezer. I like to try to can it. But for me, I like this for preserving more of my pastas or my snacky type foods that will not stay long in the containers that they come in the store. So like crackers is a super popular one that I love to vacuum seal, is crackers. I'm not sure how long cereal will be along for, but when I buy cereal in bulk, it goes bad. Cereal does not last, but you can vacuum seal it and make it last. So just in vacuum sealing too, what's cool about this bad boy is you can vacuum seal all types of stuff. So people vacuum seal stuff that's not even food. So some people vacuum seal their extra ammo or their batteries to keep them waterproof and dry. So there's a multiple amount of things that you can vacuum seal with this bad boy. Okay, so think outside the box. It doesn't necessarily have to be food, but it is a definite way for you to preserve your food. Okay, all right. And then the last that I'm going to talk about, actually it's not the last, but another popular one that I absolutely love for long-term storage is your 5-gallon buckets. Now you want them to be nice and sturdy. You can find these, some restaurants sell them used, but you got to be careful about what was in it, what kind of food. Like you can pick them up. Pickles often come in these, so you can get them, but then they smell like pickle juice even if they're clean. So just you can pick them up from restaurants, you can pick them up from online. Just pay attention to them. I will say that there's some that I didn't realize the lid was not even on. There is some that profess to be like gamma, and they're like they have like the gamma indents or whatever. I'll have to show you, but they I've watched several videos of preppers and homesteaders that have used that kind, and they actually leaked, and moisture was still able to get into the bucket. So the point of the bucket is to keep out moisture, and then to also keep out critters, because ideally you can put food directly in the bucket, but what you're usually going to do is you're going to take a Mylar bag, and you're gonna line that with the Mylar bag and then fill it, let's say with dry beans or dry rice, white rice. You're gonna fill it up and then you're gonna vacuum seal it, either with a vacuum sealer or with even a hair crimper will do it, or a hot iron and a piece of wood. You can seal it that way. As long as you seal it, oh, and I forgot to mention before you seal it, you know, you're putting your oxygen absorbers inside the bag too. Draws out all the air, and then you're gonna seal the bucket. And that's ideally to keep it waterproof, but also, you know, the Mylar bag is gonna keep it waterproof, but what the Mylar bags will not stop is like rats and animals can bite right through this and get into your vacuum sealed food. So what you wanna do is, if you're putting stuff in Mylar bags, it's super great and will last forever, but you're wanting to put that inside of a bucket or inside something. Don't have stuff in Mylar bags just sitting on the shelf somewhere, because critters can get to it and bite right through this stuff and get in and expose your preps, okay? Again, it's like anything else. If any of this excites you or makes you like, oh, I want to get into that, or oh, I never heard of that, go look at other videos. I'm gonna do videos on all this stuff as I do projects from now on, but just in case, just check out videos, learn how people do stuff, write it down, and then just jump in and get started. Okay, so that's really all I have. Oh, real quick, so the other my hair's all crazy. The other way to preserve food that's super popular is freeze dried. So there are freeze dried machines that you can buy. You're talking about, you know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to buy them, but there are machines out there that you can buy that you can actually freeze dry your own food. They're amazing. We're gonna get one, but that's obviously way down the road for us for our budget. But we're absolutely in love with freeze dried food as well. So that's kind of a prep, long-term prep for us that we're gonna work on. So I hope you enjoyed learning about just the different ways to preserve. I hope it's going to get you excited to kind of start exploring which one might work for you. And I can't wait to see what you end up doing. If you have comments for me below, want to give me some kind of insight or a tip on any of these, please let me know. And I'm super excited to read those. I will reply and read each one. And I guess until the next video, take care, all right? And stay woke, stay safe, and stay together. God bless you guys. Bye.